Hi, my name is Jim Blevins. I play the guitar for SMA, and today we're going to teach you a few tricks, a few things I have up my sleeve to get you playing good on stage and help you out with your practicing. I'd like to start with some of the basics. This is a guitar. As you can see, it's a very nice guitar. It was given to me by a friend of mine. It's an electric guitar. Probably one of the first things you want to do when choosing a guitar at the store is first pick out what kind you want, whether you want electric, or you want acoustic, or if you want an old classical guitar, whichever you prefer. Proper pick holding techniques. I play with these little Jimmy Dunlop picks. Some people play with larger picks. Usually you should hold them so that there's just a little bit of the pick sticking out of your thumb and your first finger there. That way you can get more control over the pick. Whereas if you hold the pick out here, it's rather flimsy, as you can see. So if you hold it down here, you can get a really good control over it, really good grip, and it also helps your speed when you're playing. And one thing that's really important to rhythm guitar playing is a power chord. It's a very strong, backup to a lead instrument. And a power chord usually consists of 3 notes, usually on a distorted guitar. Well, the chord I'm playing right here is a G chord, where you have your first finger on the G, your next finger here on the D, and another one on the G again. And you can pretty much move that anywhere up on the fretboard, here on the top string, and get any kind of sound that you want. If you're looking to play chords or anything and you're backing up as an instrument, it's a really good technique to learn. And you can also move that to any string that you want. You can play it on the 5th string, and then back up to the 1st string. And that's a really good technique to know, especially if you're in a rhythm guitar situation where you really need to be behind somebody who's just want a really good strong guitar sound. Just one of the things I like to use to get my sound, I use a Digitech effects processor. It's just a floor model. These come in various shapes and sizes. I prefer the Digitech because I think it's got a better sound than most. I usually use it for situations like these when I don't feel like lugging an amp into the studio or I just want to run direct. Allows you to have a lot of different effects and a lot of different sounds, from your sweet clean to your good, nice, chunky distortion. And it really helps you out with your sound. And as a guitarist, having your sound is probably one of the second most important things to your playing, because you really want to have good, distinct notes, good clarity when you're playing to, really bring forth what you're trying to play. A good thing to do when you're soloing, we'll go over some soloing techniques now, is it's called string bending, and it's usually used in an electric guitar situation. It's where you play a particular note and you just bend it up to either a whole step or a half step. And it gives you a nice clear tone, gives you a good attack. You can do a trick where you play 2 notes and then you bend one up to the other note. Kind of gives you a nice abstract distorted sound. It's simple to do. You just place one finger here on the 2nd string and one finger here on the 3rd string, and then you just bend this finger up like so. That's a really good soloing technique. It really gives you a good loud sound and it helps you get that note across really well. Another technique that a lot of people use is, it's called a hammer-on, which is when you hammer on one note, and then there's the pull-off, was where you pull off to go back down to your previous note. And you can use that pretty much anywhere on the fretboard. It works in whatever key or scale that you're playing. Sometimes you can do it down here lower to get a faster effect. Or you can also use it going up a scale. And throw in the string bend that we just showed you. That's a really good technique in it. It's kind of a trick that you just throw in, helps speed up your playing, and if you can get it clear, it really helps out with your soloing on stage. Okay, just to really quick go over some of the basics of a regular electric guitar. This is an Ibanez. It's called a Gem. It's a signature series model that was made for Steve Vai by Ibanez. He's a virtuoso guitar player. This is your fretboard. This fretboard has 24 frets, which means it goes 2 octaves in the scale. These are the pickups. Different pickups give you different sounds in the position that they are in the instrument. This back pickup will give you a more bright sounding tone. This pickup here in the foreground will give you kind of a warmer sound. It's good for playing clean. And I also like to use it in the distortion to kind of get a Rage Against the Machine sound as well. You have your volume and your tone control here. And this switch here is what allows you to select your pickups and give you a little different sound. As you can see, if I play here, it has a real kind of bright tone. If I switch it here, it switches it around a little and gives you a little more versatility with the guitar. This is something that's not standard on all guitars. Most of your virtuoso guitars will have it. It's called some people call it a tremolo, some people call it a floating bridge. And what it does is it allows you to play notes and control a vibrato or pitch with this bar. So it allows you to go forward and even back on some models of guitar. So it really helps out if in your soloing, if you really like that 80s sound to where you can play a note and do something kind of around those lines. Most guitars these days don't have them. That style of guitar kind of goes out, but there's a lot of people that faithfully believe it's going to come back in. Something only this guitar has is a handle. Most guitars don't have this. It was specially made for this particular model. You have your guitar cord jack right here. It's where you plug in to get your sound to your amp or effects processor. And of course you have your strap. Up here we have the nut, which in this particular guitar has a locking nut, and what that does is it locks the strings in place so that when you're using the bridge, the strings don't go out of tune. And here you have your tuners, and this is what allows you to tune the instrument. Whereas on a floating bridge though, if you have a locking nut, you have to use these little knobs down here to tune your instrument to get it where you want it to be. Different electric guitars have a lot of different components in it. Some of them will have less pickups, some of them will have more. And then an acoustic guitar, of course, is completely different. A lot of those don't even have pickups in them at all, but they are great sounding instruments. I recommend to everybody that you buy one just to have around the house for songwriting or whatever. Okay, now what I'm going to show you is one of the first guitar scales that I ever learned in doing soloing. It's a real easy blues scale. Some people call it a pentatonic minor scale. And what it is in the key of A. It's just a simple scale, goes up and down the fretboard, and just goes something like this. And as you can see, I didn't just do a regular scale where I went up and down. You can do a lot. You can mix and match things around. I just want to show you real quick how that works. We'll start here on the A on the 5th fret, here on the 6th string, and you just go up, playing in the 7th and the 5th and the 7th frets. And one of the things that's nice to throw in there is you can throw in the notes on the 6th fret to give it more of a blues feel. The guitar solo together. I hope you guys learned something today. Taught you some of the basics and even some more advanced techniques, and hope that really helps you out in your guitar playing. Thanks a lot for watching.